Hello everyone, welcome back to another deadline stream. It's been a hot minute. I missed the one midweek, but and I didn't have a video because of course university Christmas exams, but we're here now. A nice little green hour for myself last week, which was massive. Currently 956k in the world, which is not the greatest. By the way, I apologize if it's a small bit laggy. I can imagine it's from the weather. The weather here is so bad. It's so windy. So I don't know if Andy's having issues as well. He's living in Galway, which is on the west of Ireland, and I can imagine it's fairly windy as well. So hello everyone in chat. Good to see you. Who we got? We got Abid, Amar, GK, Eddie Casey as usual, Restock, Callum Laird. Are you still doing your FPL AI? Yeah, so that's taken a back burner because I haven't had much time. I've just had exams, so I've been kind of concentrating on the exams more so rather than building on my final year project. But we're getting there slowly but surely. I need to build up my document, but it won't take me too long. And hopefully, come maybe January, February, we have a nice chunk done. Chewy FPL as usual as well. Good to see you in chat. Is my face cam frozen or am I tripping? It looks like it is. If you could let me know, that would be great. And if you could still hear me. Looking for phone. Give me 2 seconds. What is going on? Thoughts on Isaac Captain Shy? You're gonna have to bear with me, chat. 2 seconds. Waiting for a connection. Salah will be out subbed anyway. I wouldn't be taking out Salah, by the way. Give me 2 seconds, lads. I'm gonna try fix this. I don't know what the issue is. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I wouldn't be taking out any of the assets, like Liverpool assets or even Everton assets. It's not worth it for 1 week. Thoughts on Evan Nilsson to Wissa? I don't mind it. I don't mind holding on to Evan Nilsson though. Thomas says we can still hear you. Cheers, Thomas. Davis West says morning shy. Good to see you, Davis. Thoughts on Isaac Captain? Yeah, so I really like. Well, I can't say I like. But when I think about how things played out, alright, sure, it's not ideal that I have 2 players out, Mohamed Salah and Trent for this week. But if I look at it, oh man, why does my camera keep turning off? Okay, we're back. When I look at it over the long term, like, it's not really an issue because, you know what I think it is? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I was using it wirelessly. That's why. Hold on. I'm just being a clown, lads. It's been so long streaming that I forgot to plug in my camera. So now it's wired. Okay, we won't be lagging anymore. What was I saying? Yeah, so of course I have 2 Liverpool assets on the bench now in Salah and Trent, but going forward, I mean, that leaves the triple captain open for a potential double game week in, I believe, Wolves at home and Everton away, or even Leicester at home, I think. Don't quote me. And Everton away. So I mean, sure, right now it doesn't look ideal. And going into the game week, we're potentially having to start Greaves, Garnacho who might play, Rodgers who mightn't play, and captain Jared Bowen. But I think over the long haul, I think it will work out. And this is exactly what people like me were looking for, those holding on to triple captain. Every single season, consistently, we see something prop up. Whether or not it's something crazy like the Queen dying or COVID, there's always something. And this will be a good opportunity to play triple captain. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. David Ellis says, good day, Chai. Watching from New Zealand on a Saturday evening. Enjoy the content, so keep up the great work. Thank you, Davis, or David. I appreciate you. And I hope all is well. I heard New Zealand is a deadly place. Thoughts on Bruno or Haaland captain? If I had Haaland, I'd be captain easily. Who is your captain, Chai? So right now, the armband is currently on Jared Bowen. I'm not going to try selling him. Okay, so because I didn't do a stream last week, let me just go over something real quick. So last week, I brought in Jared Bowen and I brought in Trent. Trent, of course, got 2 assists. I brought in Bowen, and I mean, I'm not one to really speak about numbers, so I'm not going to try say I was unlucky. I did watch the game, though. And boy, was I unlucky. How did he not return? He's been absolutely robbed. But yeah, I was very happy with those 2 transfers. Again, it's always a good sign when people are starting to bring in the players you brought in last week. You're kind of maybe a step ahead. saying that, of course, Trent doesn't make me look like I'm a step ahead, but he's in place for the next week, and we have Greaves for the time being, which is never ideal. If you had Saka, says Joe, would you captain him? When I look at him in comparison to other players on my team, yeah, he probably would be the standout. So it would probably be Saka or Bowen in my own team. I do like, though, that there's no Salah to just perma captain. I think especially after last week, a lot of people just want to set and forget to captain on Salah, which is not an issue, but it makes it more interesting when we have a bit more variation, and someone like myself might get a bit jammy and go with Bowen, and hopefully it comes out with double digits. Abbott is looking for a Pickford replacement. Your Pickford replacement is Raya, but I don't think it's too bad going out a keeper for a game week. You won't be the only one. Any other games expected to be postponed? I don't think so. I'm fairly sure the weather gets a bit better later on throughout the day. Watkins or Palmer captain? Oh yeah, so another one is Palmer. I'm all for a Palmer captain, don't get me wrong. I could just never do it against my own team. You have to remember, Spurs only have one actual fit defender in Radu Dragushin. Saying that, there are a few question marks on whether or not Romero will be back for that game. I think there is a good chance he will be back, and I've seen reports that there is. Who's going to start if it's not Romero? It's going to be Archie Gray, young Archie Gray. So he played there a few times during pre-season. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't him. So I would say the team is likely to be Forster, Paro, Dragushin and Archie Gray, and on the left Destiny Adogi. Whether or not he wants to provide more cover to that back four and play Bissouma, Papsar, Madison, I can't see him playing Madison with that back four. That's just pure skepticism. I could be wrong, but I would like to see Kulu just because he's a workhorse and play Johnson on the right. But let's see. No, I really like Palmer as captaincy. Again, if we're not going to captain Salah though, I think I prefer going a bit more outlandish in Bowen. Why Bowen? Wolves are shocking at defending. This is an El Sakako. Gary O'Neill's job is on the line, and so is West Ham's manager. So this is a big game for the Irons at home. You'd expect the captain Bowen to do quite well. Clocked a 1.62 XGI last game week, by the way, which is crazy high. He should have had some sort of return. Should I sell Salah for Saka? I have Haaland. No, I wouldn't be selling Salah. The reason being, when you look at his fixtures, they're absolutely ridiculous going forward. First off, look at his generational run. We ain't never seen nothing like this before. The consistency is just ridiculous. It's actually disgusting. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, if we look at the fixtures, I mean, you don't want to be selling a man with Fulham at home, then Spurs away, which is looking tasty to be honest. Leicester home, West Ham away. These are all teams who are just struggling. Okay, then you have a difficult fixture defensively in Forest, but then Brentford and Ipswich and Bournemouth and Wolves. I mean, you don't want to be getting rid of that man, especially if you have value tied up in him. Okay, let's look at my own team. What do I plan on doing? To be honest, I plan on rolling. Let me show you what I'm working with here. So I've got one free transfer. I've got 0.4 million in the bank. Like I said, last week we done Bowen and Trent. This week, I don't see any standouts. I mean, I could do Mikalenko out just to provide some cover if I don't have a player or if I don't want to play Greaves for 4.7. So this is what we done last week. I looked at the fixtures and I asked myself, is there anything that stood out? So last week I was looking at these, and the only one I said I could see a clean sheet in was potentially Arsenal. And other than that, we didn't get much other than Crystal Palace. And also Bournemouth, which we were never going to guess, and City as well, so, and Everton. Bit jammy from my own perspective with Mikalenko. But looking at this game week, who do I see a clean sheet from? Arsenal, okay, sure. I wouldn't be confident of a Bournemouth one with Ipswich at home. They really like to go for it. Sure, you could say Brighton, but Van Nistelrooy and his new manager Bounce Leicester don't actually look the worst. I would say the most likely is probably Villa, of course, but who can I bring in from Villa? And the only option I really look at is Pau Torres. Daniel in chat says FPL Shy. Hello, Daniel. House says Johnson to Bowen and captain or roll my transfer. Or roll. My rank is so bad. I don't know if I'd be chasing Bowen. Like, I think if you have him, it's definitely a good option, and it's just a bit different, so I do fancy it. Choi, is Watkins a captain shout this game week? Yeah, Watkins is another great shout, and he's one I spoke about bringing in last week. Of course, I didn't do it, but definitely not a bad shout. All right, let me look at Pau Torres. He's one I had a lot of last year. Southampton at home, and then he's Forest away. The fixtures aren't the greatest, let's be real, but going from a Mikalenko who is 4.3 to a Pau Torres who's 4.4 to cover for a nice game week this week, and then because Mikalenko's fixtures are so bad, I'll have Pau Torres to call upon if needed. So, of course, with the likes of Gabriel potentially not featuring as well, I think I'm probably better to have more shorty. So yeah, that is one of the routes I'm looking at. Another one I was looking at is potentially keeping Mikalenko, moving on Garnacho, because he's another one that we're a bit unsure if he's going to play or not. But when I look at the replacements, I mean, I'm not exactly spoiled for choice for 6.6. Someone I was looking at is the likes of Eze, but I mean, his fixtures are just terrible. You have Noni Madueke, but doubling up on Chelsea midfield, I don't know if I love it. The fixtures are quite... who else do you have? Kluivert, who's on penalties. I mean, not bad, but this 20-pointer and the 11-pointer against Arsenal, I mean, they are a bit of outliers in my opinion. Ipswich is definitely a nice fixture though, but it's always going to be tough away. What do you think about Jackson, captain? I don't love it, Ryan, I'll be honest. Sure, he got a hat-trick against us last season, but I mean, like, even with Spurs' shit defense, I'll be honest, like, this is always a game Spurs are up for. That's not to say that we'll put it up to him, but especially with all the pressure on recently. And again, just to go back on something for anyone that's usually in here, a few weeks ago I spoke about how Spurs look like they're on the right trajectory back. And then we get an injury or two and now it's all collapsed. I still believe in the manager. I don't think it's anything to do with the manager. It's just been really, really unfortunate with injuries. We've got one fit centre half, like, I mean, it says it all. Yeah, so no Kluivert for me. The other one is Mitoma. Mitoma with Leicester away. I mean, it's not bad, is it? Is the boat sailed on Mitoma even with those nice fixtures? With Adingra and what's his name back? I don't know. I could definitely do Mitoma. It's spicy as well, which embodies Choi. I'll be going into the game week with Mitoma with Leicester away. Bowen captain with Wolves at home. Kai Havertz, Solanke and Kuna up top. I mean, it is a bit mad. Another one, I would love to get to a Gordon. I think a Gordon would be my pick out of the bunch, but again, I can't afford him. He's more than 6.8. 7.2, or 6.6, sorry. And he's got some really, really nice fixtures. Brentford away, Leicester at home, Ipswich away, Aston Villa at home. I mean, if I could get to him, it would be ideal. How I get to him, though, I don't know. One of the routes is potentially knocking down a Kai Havertz or a Solanke. I can imagine a lot of people are getting rid of a Solanke this week, and which is understandable. I mean, I tried to back his cause the last 2 weeks, and of course, one of them he pulled up with illness, and the next was just a stinker performance for the whole team against Bournemouth. So, all right, that's enough on my own team. Send in your questions. I try get back to absolutely all of them. While we're answering questions, let's look at a little Rob T graphic, will we? Who don't love a Rob T graphic? Choi, Wood to Isaac or Jackson? I'll be going to Isaac personally. Would you sell Garnacho for a hit? I don't think so. I try risk playing him against Forest. Thoughts on free hitting? I only have 2 bench cover players with 3 Liverpool players. If so, any recommendations on who to target? No, I wouldn't free hit. A lot of managers. Okay, you need to forget about 3. Okay, I would say everyone has got Salah. Pretty much everyone has got Salah. So you're down to 2. And if you have 2 on the bench to cover everyone but Salah, I mean, you're fine. So I actually wouldn't be too worried. If you are free hitting though, I would have Leon Bailey and I would have Ollie Watkins. Bailey has a little bit of a punt. Watkins, because no one has him. I'd have Haaland, of course. You definitely have to have Palmer. 1 week punt on KDB. Yeah, no, I was looking at that as well. I was sizing up. What if I just done a Salah to KDB? But the team value you lose on Salah is just not worth it personally. Christopher says De Ligt and Bruno to Kirkes and Saka. No, not personally. I don't think so. John T. Helbrun says, hey Chai, as I don't have any viable subs for Trent and Salah and no free transfers available, what's the play? Would you use a free hit or take a -4 or -8 or just bite the bullet and let this week go? Jonty, I think we have to bite the bullet. Again, like I said, I wouldn't be too worried about Salah. Trent is not ideal, but I mean, it is what it is. Realistically, who else were you going to have there? Or who do other managers have? It's probably an Aït-Nouri, and I can't imagine Aït-Nouri gets too much out of this game week. Is Isaac a good captain? Yeah, he's not a bad captain. Brentford away. Brentford have looked quite leaky as well. So even if you look at it from this chart in front of you, 0.56 expected goals, providing he plays 90 minutes, and it's always appetizing. He's always on penalties as well. Good game week for a free hit? No, I wouldn't free hit. Yeah, Bort, he gets 30% of your points, but he gets 30% of everyone's points, so it's not even an issue. Son to Saka / KDB. Son is going to play this game against Chelsea. Let me look up StatMoose. Why do I feel like his record versus Chelsea is not too bad? Son Heung-min versus Chelsea. Son. For anyone that doesn't know what StatMoose is, it basically, you can type in a stat and it will tell you the answer. It's that easy. So Son Heung-min's stats versus Chelsea. Let's look at some of his previous games. Okay, I just lied to your face. He's absolutely cat versus Chelsea. At home. Are these all home fixtures? Surely not. So he's got 2 goals in 1,061 minutes. That is insane. That's insanely bad. 16 appearances and 2 goals. Always checking StatMoose. Yeah, StatMoose is good. It's really cool. But then again, you know, okay, around this time he wasn't consistent, I would say. Maybe around this time, even though he's not returned. Better metric to go off. But yeah, we always struggle against Chelsea. I'm not looking forward to this game, especially when Chelsea have looked so good. It's never a great look. But yeah, should you sell Son? Definitely not a bad shout after him being benched the previous week. Odds on winning the Premier League, again from Rob T. How are Chelsea even on this list? Ba Poopos says bench Brendan Aït-Nouri, Leif Davis, or Hall or a Dogie. Which one am I benching? Which one would I bench out of those 4? I would probably bench Leif Davis, I want to say. Apologies if I've absolutely screwed you though, but initially that's the first one that comes to mind. Let's look at... Okay, who else we got? Let's do Haaland versus Palace. Crystal... Erling Haaland stats versus Crystal Palace. What's he saying? He's scored every single time he's played against them. He's 5 goals in 264 minutes. Let me zoom in on that in case you guys can't see that. Hopefully that's a bit better. Oh, fuck. I suck at this. Okay, there you go. So 5 goals for Erling Haaland in 264 minutes. And this is why I would put the armband on him if I had him. I think he is going to do well against Palace. They're a struggling Palace team. What about Enzo at Chelsea? Nah, I wouldn't even try entertain that, Anton. Personally, I wouldn't bother. Gary says free hit an option. Gary, I don't think so. If you're only missing 2 or 3 players, you know, a lot of managers, even including myself, are as well. Crypto Munch says want to go Isaac into my team. Verbergen, Guardiola, Gabriel, Aït-Nouri, Palmer, Saka, and Mbeumo Rogers. Salah bench, Pedro, Wissa, and Kuna. Thinking Wissa and Mbeumo out. Isaac and Semenyo in. Yeah, I really like those moves. An interesting debate this week is whether or not it is too early or not to get rid of Mbeumo. I moved him on last week and I was more than happy to. I brought in Jared Bowen, of course, so I think it really matters who the replacement is more than getting rid of him. Is Welbeck injured? I know he got subbed off early last game, but I didn't hear any injury shouts. Steve says, I think I'm going to go for a free hit. I'm a massive fan of winning my mini league and my opponent has 0 Liverpool players while I have 3. Steve, I can understand what you're saying, but you have to factor in it also means he doesn't have any Liverpool players for the fixture next week. And also, down the line somewhere, there's going to be a double game week for Liverpool. And he's going to have a free hit on you when you don't. So, maybe just something to keep in mind. But yeah, if you really feel like you can get maybe a leg up by doing that, sure. FPL Discomfort says 1-0 Eze. Let me bring up my team for anyone that's just joined us. Good to see you, Kieran, by the way. There is my team. What are your top 3 forwards to have? Let me tell you, it wouldn't be Solanke, it wouldn't be Kai Havertz, and it wouldn't be Mateus Cunha. It would be Isaac, João Pedro, and if I could be greedy for this game week, Erling Haaland. But assuming you don't want Haaland, I probably would. Who would I have? If it's not Haaland, let me have a look. Forwards. Oh, Jackson, yeah. Isaac. No, sorry. Okay, let me go again. Watkins, Isaac, and João Pedro. In that order. I think I'm gonna roll, says Walid. Yeah, I could roll as well. It's just I don't know. I'm a bit unsure because potentially Gabriel. I don't want to play Greaves versus Bournemouth. You never know with Lewis as well. So I feel like I'm almost like I'd be stupid not to make a transfer. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Let's do a cheeky poll while we got everyone in chat. What are we thinking? Who are you captain? No, actually, let's not do a poll, but put in chat who you're captain, because I know there'll be a lot of variation this week. I think Palmer will be quite popular. Van Dijk replacement 1 week. I don't mind Van Dijk actually, yeah. Bench 2 of Gabriel, Porro, Lewis, Dunk, and Hall. Lewis, Dunk, and Hall. Bench 2. I would definitely be starting Gabriel. I would definitely be starting Dunk because he's a man that can come up with a header. I think the other 3 are honestly a flip of a coin. Who would I start? I would just start Porro, honestly. I hate leaving money on the bench. It's probably not the right answer, but it's just what I'd do. Cole Palmer, Watkins, Bowen, Palmer. Gary says Palmer, Bruno. Michael is captain Palmer. Sharaf, good morning, good to see you. Of course, this FPL Discomfort is on Saka. Shock horror. Champions Collide is also on Saka. Nemanja's on Palmer. Erling or Palmer, haven't made up my mind. For me, it would be easy. I would be going Erling Haaland. I was thinking Saka, but changed to Palmer. Bowen captain, says Philippus. Con Clasher says, surely you transfer out Mikalenko. Upcoming fixtures are terrible and gives you bench cover this week. It does. But you know what looks so much better than having bench cover for this week? And again, it's just part of my thinking when I'm making transfers is the next week. So let me bring up my team ID. Again, this is FPL team. Oh, fuck. The greatest app for planning in my opinion. So let's look at my team. So this week it lines up like this. Okay, fine, whatever. Armband on Jared Bowen, I want to say for now. Not great. Quickly before I get back to this, top of the morning to you, Choi. Do I start Greaves or Raul over Salah? Always start the attacker. So Raul. Greaves doesn't look appetizing. So if I roll this week, I go into next game week looking like this, which is quite tasty. Okay. You're right, actually. Maybe I don't need that extra transfer. I was just being greedy, to be honest. I look at the team there. It's actually quite good. But the reason I want to hold it, right? So it's more so because I have a lot of uncertainty for a player like Kai Havertz, Rico Lewis, even Garnacho. Like that's why I want to have another transfer. But if I do Pau this week, so let's say I do Mikalenko to Pau, which is not a bad move. Southampton at home. I mean, Southampton are struggling, even though they're not so bad attacking wise. But you're right, it does give me cover, and then I have Greaves to fill in if anyone is somehow benched, which I can't imagine they get benched and don't come on. That's my thing. Like, sure, bench cover is not is good, but like Garnacho, if he gets benched, is gonna play. I can't see Gabriel missing out. I just can't see it. Lewis is gonna be brought on if he doesn't play. I do probably think Lewis is going to play though. Okay, so then we go into next week with one free transfer. One free transfer, and then we have, of course, Mo Salah to bring in here for Greaves. And we probably play Pau Torres instead of Lewis versus United. And that looks quite good. Alright, and then we go to the next week. That's rolling the transfer there, assuming nothing pops up. We've got Garnacho versus Bournemouth, who I don't even know if I risk playing. Lewis versus Aston Villa. My team looks a bit doo-doo for this week, but we've got 2 transfers to work with. Who plays this week? We could even bring in João Pedro, Jackson. This run for Chelsea looks quite good. You know who someone I think we'll be talking about very soon? Providing he doesn't get a relapse of injury. And that's Diogo Jota. I think he'll be way back on the menu for this Liverpool run. The only thing is Jota is a bit flaky around Christmas time because he's not someone who can play midweek and the weekend. And I know Arne Slot will like to play Gakpo as well. But I think with these fixtures, even if he is getting 60 minutes on a weekly basis like we saw near the start of the season where the likes of Diaz or Jota will get hooked at 70, you don't mind that as long as they're playing consistently. And then with the likes of Leicester, West Ham, United, Forest, Brentford, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Wolves, I mean, it looks so tasty. And then if you also keep in mind the double game week that is potentially coming, it is definitely coming, it's just a matter of when. You want to have Liverpool assets when they're also favourites to be league winners. So another player before we move on from this fixture ticker. By the way, this is my favourite fixture ticker in FPL. FPL team, by the way, go check them out. They don't support me or anything, but I just really like their website. Another one we need to talk about who's slowly creeping in, he got an assist last week, is Erebeshi Eze. Next week he's got Bournemouth, Southampton, Chelsea, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, United, Everton. Some really nice fixtures, and we haven't seen Crystal Palace be that great this season yet. But I don't think they can be any worse. So he's one I want to keep an eye on, see if he starts getting consistent minutes again. So getting back to the chat, 170 people in here. Do me a favor, hit that like button while you're here. It helps us get out there. But leave a question in chat. I'll try to get back to as many as possible. It does make sense, says Con. It is a luxury move. I agree. Would you start Greaves or BOR or Robinson versus Arsenal? I think I'd probably play Greaves. I can't see Fulham keeping a clean sheet versus Arsenal. Sel Solanke says Ho Zong Zeng. Not for me with Southampton next week. I can understand your frustration though. I'm more than happy to hold on to him for another week. Brian Marimi with the FPL Choi logo. He says, Choi, Rodgers or Semenyo? For me this week you gotta be playing Rodgers. Now the only way I wouldn't play Rodgers is if you're worried about a bench. Also, I would try to do everything in my power. How do you have that much flexibility to bench one of Rodgers and Semenyo? Assuming you have Salah. But yeah, I probably would play Rodgers. Yo Henry says, top of the morning to you, Choi. Would you buy a defender? I have Greaves, Nuri, Dallo, Harwood, Robinson, and Rhea. I don't think I would buy a defender, Henry. I think I would just farm a role, to be honest. Unless it sets you up. The only way I would bring in a defender is if you're confident of a clean sheet this week and it sets you up well for the future slash next week. Waleed makes a good point. He says Mateta too. Yeah, for sure. Ryan Togud in chat. Hello. Hit the like button, says Prava. Appreciate you. Reficul says, hi Chai, is it worth a -4 to sell Son and Wood for Jackson and Bone? I can also get Watkins. I think if you can get up to a Watkins, that -4 is definitely appetizing, for sure. That logo is so cool, lol. No worries, Brian. I hope you like it. Yeah, no, it's actually funny where that logo differentiates from, or actually stems from, sorry. Like, if you look at my YouTube, let me pull it up right here. So, this logo was me last year. Of course, we were second in the world last year. But, of course, we didn't own Erling Haaland. And this is me, because I was the only one that didn't own Erling Haaland. And everyone giving out, basically. Shit, I didn't mean to do that. Also, do you like the cover photo? Cover photo was made from what's his name? Alex Vollo. Shout out Alex Vollo. But it has my previous ranks, 1,839 in the world last year. Of course, we were also second for a long time We're in the top 10 for at least 20 game weeks. We're in the top 1,000 for over 32 game weeks. 2021 I have a top 5k finish. And then some of the other ranks are mediocre, I'm not going to lie to you, but it can't always be perfect, let's be real. Fabianski or Cells? I would probably try play Cells. Wolves are probably going to score, let's be real. I'm going Palmer captain. Spurs have too many injuries. Yeah, you're right. Again, I can't say you're wrong. Yo Henry says cheers, no worries. Memeland says I sold Haaland and subbed in Salah just this morning. What should I do now? Well, now you have to die on the hill, unfortunately. What I would say is, how do you make your transfers when you know the Liverpool game could have been postponed? I know a lot of people are not on Twitter, but I don't know. That's so unfortunate, man. Sorry to hear. Kittle in chat, he says, "Hi Troy, do you think it's worth going Solanke to Jackson? I'm right on the money for it." Kittle, man, it's really hard for me to tell you no. Do I think Solanke can score against Chelsea? Absolutely. And then who do we have next week? We have Southampton. So for me, I feel like it is a sideways move, and I could be completely wrong. Jackson could end up with a hat-trick like we've seen before, but standing on my ground, I just can't see it, personally. Again, complete bias, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. You have to remember, you have to take the game state of or the fixture in isolation, and that's what I do. Home for Spurs versus Chelsea, where there's a lot of pressure on for Ange. Sure, we've loads of injuries, but we play a certain way where you'd like to hope we'll have a lot more of the ball with Ashley Gray potentially playing centre half. By the way, just to say, I do think Ashley Gray is probably playing centre half if Christian Romero is not fit. I think there is a good chance Romero is fit. Nils says, "Hi, Chai, on holiday, so did early transfers to bring in Trent and Semenyo for Anderson and Mbeumo. So now I have 10 players. Any recommendations for a 4.3 million defender?" No, I would just roll. I wouldn't bring in another defender. Chai, who are your top targets? I wish I had Ollie Watkins this week. I'd almost put the armband on him personally. Isaac or Watkins? This week, Watkins. Waleed says, "I'm rolling because I want Trent for game week 16 and only have one free transfer. Hoping Mbeumo gets a jammy pen this week, or Thomas Frank sets up in a 3-5-2 with Mbeumo up front." Yeah, it's a good thing to note that Mbeumo has not been up top, and I think that's why a lot of people are extra frustrated. I think if he's playing up top and he wasn't clocking good numbers, okay, understandable. It happens. We go through droughts. But I think when he's playing on the wing, he's not as appetizing for sure. Champions Collide says, "Chai, bro, already made 2 free transfers and took a -4 bringing in Gomez and Odegaard. 2 interesting moves. Defense is currently Lewis, Aït-Nouri and Greaves. Do I take another -4 to bring in Hall or Kirkes? No, you don't. Do you still in Havertz, Chai? I have a plan to transfer him out for Watkins, Isaac or Evan Nilsson. If I could do Havertz up to a Watkins right now, I would do it. I would do it for sure. There would be no doubt in my mind I'd have Ollie Watkins in my team if I could afford it. 9 million though. We can't just get there yet. That's unfortunate. He's my pick of the bunch this week. Watkins captain, Chai, how does it look? I wouldn't know, but if you're on it, I say it looks beautiful. Palmer or Watkins captain? If I had Watkins, I'd be throwing my armband on him. I've got 4.2 in the bank for a defender. Who's the best defender at that price? Again, it's just not worth making a move sidewards, wasting a transfer on someone that's 4.2 in my own eyes. I can't see too many clean sheets this week either. Did I miss something, says Jonathan. No Liverpool game. Yeah, no Liverpool game. The game is called off due to Storm Dara. Kitty Choi says, City defence or United defence for this week? City defence. City defence all day. Liam Preston says, "Hi, should I start Lewis or Aït-Nouri?" Lewis. Cheers, mate, says Kittle, no worries. Conclasher says, "Spurs have been so frustrating." Don't get me started on how frustrating Spurs have been. Like, you think existing is bad, but then, you know, you realise Spurs fans exist and it's just pure suffering. And Mbeumo to Gordon. Love Gordon. Love Gordon. Hi, I'm an idiot and kept Haaland captain for the last 3 weeks. Pains, but been tough. Do I hold him for one more week? Absolutely. If there's ever a week to hold Erling Haaland and put the armband on him, it is indeed this week. Wholesome fate. Sharif says Jackson captain, not for me. I've one free transfer, says ZJ. Who should I transfer out first, Rico Lewis or Mbuemo? I think you hold on to Rico Lewis. Again, it's just the price. Probably move on Mbuemo. Palmer or Bowen captain. I'm going to go Bowen. I'm going to back my boy. I brought him in for a reason, and it's a very nice fixture for West Ham. Is there any news on Watkins' minutes, Shy? I'm a little bit worried. Okay, yeah, you're probably right to be a small bit worried about Watkins, especially with that absolute monster in Jean Duran knocking on the door, but he played 62 minutes last week. He scored 2 goals, I believe. I'm fairly sure he can comfortably get another 70 minutes, and 70 minutes versus Southampton at home when I compare him to some of the other options. Sure, you have a 90-minute Palmer versus Tottenham, but other than that, I mean, 70 minutes Watkins is beautiful. How do you feel about Gomez as an 8-Nori replacement? You know what? Gomez, I assume you're talking about Liverpool Gomez. Of course, he's blanking this week, but in general, not bad. What to do with Welbeck? Probably hold, I want to say. Or just go to João Pedro if you can. Sam Weller says Greaves or 8-Nori. I mean, you gotta start 8-Nori. You gotta, but I'm hoping for a bit of jam with Greaves. I'm playing my wildcard, but only have 4.2 for my final defender. Who would you recommend I choose? There's no one great for 4.2. I mean, you have Mikalenko for 4.3 and Pau Torres for 4.4. I just wonder if you can get another 0.2 to try get Pau Torres. Can you do score predictions, says Ryan. Ryan loves the score predictions. Yeah, we can do it. Give me another 5 minutes. I'm going to try and answer a few more of your questions. John Duran hasn't scored in the Prem since like September or something. He hasn't scored until he scores, and we know how good he is, so he can do it against Southampton for sure. Is Mitoma good? Mitoma's good. Tiny Fungus in chat, he says, morning, Captain Bowen or Salah? So, Tiny Fungus, I don't know if you've seen yet, but the Liverpool game is cancelled. So, no Liverpool fixture. I'm Captain Bowen, personally. Greaves or 8-Nori? It's 8-Nori for me. Where Mitoma, is he good? Yes, he is. We've got an 80 pound or 80 pence super chat from Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you. I'm surprised you've not left a message though, but I appreciate it. Where are we? Troy, do I transfer in O'Shea? No, you don't. Wesley says, love the content. Do you think I should do Garnacho and Mbuemo to Mitoma and Rodgers? I'm wondering if Rodgers will start. Yeah, that's the thing, Wesley. I don't know if it's worth making a move like that when you have the unsurety in Rodgers. I think if you go into this game week knowing Rodgers is definitely going to start, yeah, sure. But you don't. Mbuemo to Mitoma, sure, and then risk starting Garnacho is probably what I prefer. Who do I start, Dibbling or Hall? That's a tough one. By the way, if you could not spam chat, Aaron, be much appreciated. I'll answer your question. Greaves or Robinson? I would start Greaves. I wouldn't be too confident in Robinson personally. Lucas says, Choi, is that Richarlison Avi I see? Which two do I start out of Renan, 8-Nori, Hall and Greaves? You gotta start Renan, 8-Nori and Hall. Gehi or Milenkovic? Milenkovic, I guess. Hall or Nori? Probably Hall. Will Watkins start? Tiny Fungus says, I want to say yeah. Again, he can't be sure because Jean Duran. But he only played about 62 minutes last week, so yeah. Pau to start? I mean, I want to say so. Let me bring up his minutes recently. I don't see why Pau Torres wouldn't start. Unless I'm missing something, but... Oh, balls. I didn't even realise he missed the Brentford game. Man, I'm tweaking. But again, unless there was an injury doubt, maybe he just got benched. George, if you could let me know, George is my moderator, by the way, if you could just have a look on Pau Torres if there's any injury scare. Yeah, I didn't know that. Apologies. Would you Isaac/Dibbling in for Wooden and Mbuemo for a hit? No, you're getting rid of two good assets for just Isaac. Sure, Dibbling is not bad. He's starting to get good minutes and he looks quite good, but He's not compared to Wood personally. Do you think captaining Semenyo is good? It's grand. Again, you can captain whoever you like this week. The standout is by far going to be Cole Palmer. And on that topic, let's go through Twitter to see what people are doing. So, for example, Prass is captain Palmer, Pickle is captain Palmer, Andy is captain Palmer. So if you go anyone other than Palmer, you're gonna be going against the grain. And for me, I think it is an opportunity. If there's some bit of faith in me that thinks Spurs are not going to be rolled over versus Chelsea. There is a bit of faith in me, and I'm not an optimistic Spurs fan. It's a double blow though. If Chelsea come and rock Spurs, I'll actually be in tears for the weekend. You won't see me next week if that's the case. Let me refresh my timeline. Best defender under 5.3. That is a good question, Logan. Who's around 5.3? 5.3 defender. Let's have a look. Let's see. 5.3. By the way, Ashley Young, how is he doing so well? That's insane. That guy is 37, like. 5.3. There is no standouts, is there? It's mad. The defenders got nerfed this year, and I feel like there are no great defenders, are there? I would probably go for one of the budget ones to try leave funds, because we've gotten to a point of the season where we all want Saka, Palmer, Salah. That means you have to leave funds for any strikers you want to bring in. So I think I would actually just go to a budget one rather than actually going for someone at 5.5-ish. Who would I go for? I mean, an Arsenal asset? Maybe, how much is Timber? I think he's around 5.5. So you can't afford, he's 5.6. So Pau Torres' last injury was the start of November. I can't see anything else other than that, says George. I mean, if what's his name was fit, I would go Pau Torres, because it just leaves you with so many more funds. But again, unless there's something I'm missing with him, maybe you can't go for him. Ashley Young is 39. Man, Ashley Young's name made me think he was 37. It knocked 2 years off him. But yeah, maybe you risk Pau Torres or you go to a different Villa defender. Will Rodgers start? I want to say yes. Again, I'm hopeful though. He's 39. Insane. How is that man 39? How is he still kicking about? Choi, who will you captain? Watkins or Saka? I think if I had Watkins, I'd captain him. Again, I apologise if he doesn't get to start, but he should do. What about Semenyo instead of Rodgers? Also, I'm looking at it long term. Semenyo as my 8 attacker. Yeah, no, Semenyo is just as good as Rodgers, if not better, to be honest. He's just a bit more expensive. Good morning. Good to see you, Liam. As per. For who will I replace Mbeumo? Let me see. Hold on. Who should I replace with Bello? I've 9.8 in the bank. I've Salah, Saka, Palmer, and Rodgers. Man, your attack must be absolute dust if you've got those 3 midfielders and 9.8 in the bank if you sell Mbeumo. Who to go to? You know what? I'm gonna incentivize Gerard Bowen. I really like him. Again, like I said, it's more so the fixtures. Sure, West Ham look terrible. Some really good fixtures for West Ham from an attacking point of view, in my opinion. And if anyone's going to be involved in goals for West Ham, it is going to be Bowen. He's been a small bit underwhelming this season. Again, he clocked really good numbers last game week though. 1.62 expected XGI. And if Lopetegui goes, there will be a manager bounce. Again, whether or not you believe in that, I don't know. But definitely not a bad option around that price point. And looking like my captain for this game week. We're 956k in the world. Let me just touch on that real quick. 956k, game week 15. Look, I can't say this is where I expected to be. Again, I've been happy with my decisions throughout. I'm not gonna lie, the 15 game weeks. I look at them for what they are. Sure, some of them or some people in my own team let me down. But on a weekly basis, I feel like I've been making decent decisions. Just been getting the small thing wrong in terms of captaincy, I feel. Also, I have my triple captain. That's another thing. If you take into account, okay, sure, Erling Haaland has gotten that massive haul versus Ipswich, the hat-trick, which accumulated to what, another 18 points on anyone that just captained them. And then I think about this double game week that's coming in for Mohamed Salah. I definitely feel like because it's a double game week, you get the extra fixture, which is what, easily another 6 points. And then you expect them to get some sort of return in that Everton game. Could be a massive haul, so I'm not too worried. 18 points to a 950k rank probably brings me around the 700k mark, 600k mark. How do I feel with Topspur versus Chelsea? I mean, again, I'm definitely not optimistic about it, but I don't think we're going to get rolled over. It might sound silly to say, but at home, we're still a hard fixture, let's be real. Timber in 8 and Ori out for a -4 for the next 3 game weeks. Yes, I like that. If you're enjoying the stream, hit a like, says George. Appreciate you, George. Red Devil says, good morning, Shai. Good to see you, Red Devil. Fabianski or Henderson? They're both not great, are they? Fabianski or Henderson? Fabianski. Liam says, I have to start... Where's that question? I have to start Raul versus Arsenal/Liverpool. Do I bring in Sean Larson? I wouldn't bother bringing in Sean Larson personally. I think you just play Raul and pray. I'm going to captain Bowen like you, boss. Lads, you shouldn't listen to me. I'm currently in the top 1 million. What do I know? I used to be a good manager. I'm washed. I'm washed personally. Charlie says, who would you buy in the mediums to long term? Guardiola, Timber, Saliba or Kirkes? I would buy Guardiola and Timber in that order. I think Guardiola, you know, he's still going to come up with returns. He's playing in a fairly advanced position. Sure, Nathan Ake is back, but I don't think City are going to continue. I said it last week, and the week before, and the week before, and the week before, but look, they're going to be back, let's be real. Or they're not going to be as bad as we've seen. That's a better way to put it. Choi, can you suggest a transfer, please? I'm very confused. Should I search for another keeper or do Oina to Timber or Wood to JP? I think those 2 moves you've suggested are good. Oina to Timber or Wood to João Pedro. I think I prefer Wood to João Pedro though. Try a chase some upside. My attack is Isaac Larson and João Pedro. Not bad, I guess. Yeah, mine is absolute buns. I can't lie. Like, I think that's where I've been really let down. I have a lot of funds in my attack in Solanke, Havertz and Kuna. Havertz just hasn't been the 8 million asset I was hoping him to be. Solanke hasn't been not even close to a 6 million asset, never mind a 7.5. So I think if Solanke just had done well in previous weeks, my rank would be looking so much better. And again, I know it's hindsight, it doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. Chai, I know if you're doing a free hit, your team would look winky face. It would, but again, it's not worth it. You just don't know what's coming up in the future. Pau versus Southampton or Estupinian versus Leicester. I mean, you gotta go Estupinian. Saying that, Estupinian is one that would be in my free hit. Alright, let's do a cheeky free hit, will we? Sorry to bore anyone, but let's do a free hit. Let's pretend. Role playing is good in FPL. You can look at all the things you wish you could have. You probably do end up going double Arsenal defense even on free hit. Let me zoom out a small bit. Let's do, what's his name? Timber. Just because you don't know if what's his name is definitely going to play. Shit, I'm looking in the wrong game week. Game week 15. Yeah, okay, let's put in Timber. So, just to go over this again. This is if I was free hitting this week and I could make whatever team I wanted as a little punty team. This is what I would do. Estupinian's in. Do I spread? I'll probably go Digne. Just for the 1 week prey. You definitely have Cole Palmer. I would have to have Ollie Watkins. Erling Haaland. Ollie Watkins. You gotta go De Bruyne. Let's just say you put a placeholder for Salah real quick. Price. Who was a placeholder for Salah, just for concept? Let's put Shotterbury, and let's put Trent down to Nalo. Okay, so De Bruyne, Haaland. I mean, that looks pretty good as it is. Of course, you probably wouldn't have him in, so you'd put in João Pedro, hoping you get another start. Leicester away. Do you go Roger Liss and maybe go for Leon West Bumbleclot Bailey? Maybe. Or you just hold on to Rodgers. It would be something similar to that. Who would I put the armband on? Definitely Erling Haaland. So that would be my free hit team, I think. Let me zoom in, just if anyone is on free hit for some inspiration. I don't know why you'd ever copy my team, but there it is. Watkins captain with Jackson voice. Not sure who to go for. Are there any tips? I like Watkins. That's all I say. And I don't think you can predict if he's going to be benched or not. Again, he did get an early sub last game week, so that's why I'm fairly confident of a start. And if Watkins is going to start, the player who is probably more likely to miss out is Rodgers, because John Duran can fill in there. Alright, let's get back to my own team. Here's my team. Hi Chai, would you start Mazraoui or Aït-Nouri? I think this will be a cagey game. And I would like to start Mazraoui, I want to say. He picks up some really good spots as well. So Salah for KDB. Salah's not worth selling, only because of the funds we have tied up in him. Should I sell Welbeck? Probably not. Start 2 of Gabriel, Dallo, Iwobi. I would definitely start Gabriel and... Gabriel and Dallo, I mean. Playing Iwobi versus the best defense in the league, it's not ideal. Captain Palmer or Jackson. If it's between Palmer or Jackson, it never makes sense to not Captain Palmer. In my opinion. Unless you have like a tingling sensation in your ball sack that tells you to do it to Jackson. I don't think I'd do it otherwise. The Lux game is important though. It's a must win for the Champions League. That makes Watkins Mins a worry. No, I've no doubt he's probably going to get an early sub. I don't doubt that. So this is an updated clean sheet table which we will look at from, of course, the absolute legend, Rob T. Downtown says, is it time to get rid of Aït-Nouri? Yeah, I got rid of Aït-Nouri last week. It is quite nice. Okay. What else can we grab from this graphic? United 36% chance of a clean sheet, which is really high. For their standards, I suppose. Whereas Spurs, 13% chance of a clean sheet. Of course, Chelsea are the favourites going into this fixture. No surprise there. Cole Palmer and Chelsea with a 2.05 expected goal. A lot of goals going to be scored this weekend, lads. And this graphic just goes to show. Even Southampton, almost a 1 expected goal versus Villa. Will Gabriel start? I want to say he will. To not be training indoors due to a head injury is unusual. So that's why I think he's going to be fit. Again, it probably doesn't make much sense, but from my own perspective, that's how I look at it. And West Ham 1.9 expected goals versus Wolves. Just praying Gerard Bowen is going to be part of those goals. I do think there is definitely a case to go Cole Palmer. Again, I just can't find it in me to do it. This could be my season over. Where are we? Wood to Isaac and Mbeumo to Kluivert for free. Yeah, I don't mind those moves. What about Wood to Isaac and Mbeumo to Semenyo? Can you do that? 3 million in the bank, says Real. He says 2 free transfers. Timber to Nori, worth the double up on the Arsenal. Yeah, so Nori to Timber, I think it is definitely worth the double up. Nadeep says, I really love your content, Chai. It really feels differential and refreshing. Hope that you had a lovely season ahead. That's such a nice message, man. Thank you, I appreciate it. I apologize I can't pump out as much content as I usually want, or as much as I expect to. Again, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm in my 4th year of university and I'm just so busy doing computer science. So I don't have the motivation in me to make a weekly video. It's much easier for me to just set up the camera and sit in front of a stream and do it off the cuff. I do think more content is definitely to come this season, so do look out for it. But I think next season I'll have plenty of more time to allocate time towards it. So I'm glad you like the content. Thank you for the kind words, and I appreciate you guys taking your Saturday to choose me as your choice of streamer. That's what it's about, you know what I mean? Like, the big boys will always provide more information, or more valuable information, but if you're looking for something new or something a small bit different, I'm here for you. So and we'll always have a little smile on our face trying to get some green arrows. Where are we? Start Fabianski or Sanchez? I think you start Fabianski. I have a strong feeling that Darragh O'Shea will score tomorrow. Well, John, let me tell you something. If you've got a feeling about something, the rule of thumb in FPL is to not do it. Whereas I'm the opposite. Unless you've got Darragh O'Shea, I wouldn't be bringing him in. Okay, let's get back to my own team. Am I happy rolling the transfer? What should Choi do? Let's do a poll. Choi should. Should Choi roll? That's how we're going to word this. Yes or no? Dunk or Vandenberg, says Darley Long. I want to say Dunk. Bullet Hender pending. Okay, if you vote no, tell me who I should bring in. I want to hear some suggestions. Who will the Spurs centre-back pairing be this week? Says Liam. I do think if Romero's fit, it will be Dragushin and Romero, obviously. If Romero's not fit, it's going to be Dragushin and Archie Gray. I'd be surprised to see anything other than Archie Gray if it's not Romero. Choi, will it be a double game week for Liverpool? It will be. It looks like it will be, yeah. Thoughts on going in Buemo to Semenyo and Welbeck to Isaac? I really like it. My defence is not that strong, says Oscar. Yeah, a lot of people have struggling defences, and that's why I brought in and got rid of 8 Nori last week for Trent, and now look at this week. So, in hindsight, it was a good move, but now with the postponement, maybe it's not as good as I thought it would be. Tyler says he can't catch a break. I did Haaland and Bowen out for Salah and Pedro on Thursday for another poor performance for West Ham, and Haaland last week. Yeah, no, that is painful. Tyler, that's tough. Emil Smith wrote to Ahmed, thoughts. I'm still a bit hesitant on Ahmed. Don't get me wrong, he's been very, very good for United. I just don't know if he is that 5-point whatever asset yet. I want to give him a small bit more time, personally. Who are the best defenders to buy right now? Arsenal defenders. I mean, they're the only sure ones in my opinion. Pull the trigger and transferred Wissa and Mbeumo out for Isaac and Semenyo. Watch Brentford do bits now. Nah, I think those are solid enough moves. Adam Sella says Son and Wood out for Gordon or Bowen and Watkins captain for a -4. Thoughts? Now that's tough. To decide to go to Gordon or Bowen, I really like Gordon. I do really, really like Gordon. And Newcastle are a bit better than West Ham, so I probably would say Gordon. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. Do you save your transfers or do you use them every week? So, this is interesting. I save the transfer where I always see relevant. I won't make a transfer for the sake of it. And if I'm happy with my team, I'll always roll. But I often roll a transfer and use 2 the next week. I've gotten to 4, but I prefer using when I'm at 2. Again, it really is team dependent though. That's just how my structure has been so far. What do you think of KDB? Yeah, he was saying about in the interview about his hernia, his sports hernia, and his age creeping up on him. It's never ideal hearing that. Don't get me wrong, I feel like he could be a very good option, but he's starting to get old now, and I think he might be past the premium asset. Like, you don't know if he's going to be starting consistently. I think if he was starting every single week, I would like it, but you have to remember, we're in a busy, congested Christmas period. Pep loves to rotate one, and with Champions League, you know, it's definitely coming. Should I sell Salah for 1 game only and bring Palmer? I don't love that personally. I think you just bite the bullet. I have Enzo coming in for Salah. Should I start him over Hall? Yeah, I do think you start him over Hall, but again, I'm not an Enzo Fernandez lover. Don't get me wrong, he's absolutely killed it in recent weeks, but don't love it. Are you streaming until the deadline? Yeah, I'm streaming until 11 o'clock. The deadline didn't get changed, so there's nothing different here. Nazar says, hello Choi, should I play Greaves or do a -4 to bring in Timber? I would just... bringing in Timber sets you up nicely for next week, so I don't mind that move. Do I see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet? Honestly, I think Fulham can score. But yeah, if you think Arsenal, you're confident in Arsenal against Fulham, I would bring in Timber for a -4. Dylan Brunning says, Choi, Wood or Raul to Isaac? I want to say Raul. Wood is a better asset providing he plays, but... that is tough. I want to say Raul. Get rid of Raul. I've never been a big Raul believer. Start Porro or Colwell. Look, Spurs are going to score against Chelsea. I don't care what team we have. Don't get me wrong, we didn't do it against Bournemouth, but for Spurs not to score 2 games on the bounce in a home fixture, I don't see it, lads. I genuinely don't see it. Please shut me down if I'm being silly, but if you think Chelsea are getting a clean sheet in this game, I'd be very, very surprised. Should I start Colwell? Will he start? He should start. I don't see why he wouldn't. Mbeumo for Bruno, Kuna to Isaac for a -4. Again, for a -4, I don't know if those moves are justified, Emer. Would you sell Johnson? Brennan Johnson? I think if you've nothing else to do, yeah. Why don't you want to captain Palmer? It's not that I don't want to captain. I just think Bowen is probably just as good. I'm on wildcard and I have Rodgers, Pedro, Gabriel. Should I replace them? No. I don't think you replace any of them. Yo Henry says, hello Choi. Should I buy Gabriel in the hope he plays? I don't like that. I think I'll honestly just go Saliba for surety. Again, I made that mistake a few weeks ago and Gabriel scored, but lads, if Gabriel continues at this rate, he's going to have double-digit goals. And is Gabriel going to have double-digit goals this season? Okay, he's not going to have double-digit goals. He might have, at this rate, he might have 8 goals by the end of the season. Like, don't see that happening. There's no way Gabriel has 8 goals at the end of the season. There's no way. Again, other Arsenal players also have heads, and it's looking like a lot of teams are trying to really stop Gabriel now, so it might open up some space for other defenders. I done that last year and I ended up going Saliba and it worked out quite well. Should I start Mitoma, Havertz, Saka, Kuna or Jackson? You gotta start Mitoma. Who do you bench in that case? You probably bench Kuna. Oliver says, morning Choi, would you bench Rodgers, Kuna or Mbeumo? That's tough, man. Can't be benching penalty takers, can you? Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I'm sorry, Oliver. That's just too tough. Son to Gordon or Roll? I would just roll. It's not worth getting rid of Son, let's be real. Hello, Choi, what is your ethnicity? Are you Vietnamese? Okay, put in chat, what ethnicity do you think I am? I know a lot of people already know what I am. Actually, no, don't put it in chat. A lot of people know what I am already. So my dad is from Malaysia. My mom is from Hong Kong. I was born and raised in Ireland. So I'm a nice little mix. JM says, hey mate, Mbeumo and Semenyo to Odegaard and Dibbling. No, I don't like those moves, JM, personally. Brennan Johnson, 8 Nori, Rico Lewis, bench 1. Probably have to bench 8 Nori. Probably. I'm going to close this poll. Thank you everyone that's voted. 63% think I should roll. What is roll? Roll means not use a transfer this week. Who to replace Robertson with? 1 free transfer. Andy Robertson. I wouldn't replace him. Derek says Irish. Yeah, you're right. I'm Irish. I wonder, do you think my accent is thick or not? That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. What made your parents move to Ireland instead of somewhere like London? Okay, that's a good question. Let me give you a debrief. First off, why are Liverpool not playing? Because of the storm. Storm Dara. Why did my parents move to Ireland? So, at the time, my dad had got an accident in a factory in Singapore. He was working there. And it cut off half of his finger or something like that. And the insurance company basically fucked him over. And we're like, yeah, we're not paying you out. So he was like, fuck this place. And then he was like, okay, my brother's in Ireland. Let's go work in a Chinese restaurant with him. And then he flew over to Ireland and then ended up meeting my mother here. So, yeah, that's the backstory. Robert Zahari's in chat. He says, morning show, I got Trent early yesterday winning this FPL thing. Nah, Robert, FPL is just a game of pain at this point. And we go into every single week knowing it's just going to be a struggle. Roger McSweeney says, would you start Flecken or Fabianski? I would be inclined to start Flecken. Again, I don't love Fabianski either though. Where are we? Son to Bone, no. Is Smith Rowe to Rodgers at -4 worth it? No. Gabriel to Timber or nah? No. Garnacho to Rodgers? No. Should I do Mbeumo to Bowen and Mbeumo to Matoma and Archer to Evanilson? I think Mbeumo to Bowen is a good move. Choi Lore, yeah, now you know. Should I start Madueke? Absolutely. Do you think I should sell Johnson to Semenyo or play Johnson? I think I would just play Johnson, honestly. Hello Choi, says Shanali. He says, I've Sells and Sanchez and not sure who to play. Who would you start? I wouldn't be starting Sanchez, that's all I know. From a boy Spurs fan, Choi. Okay, let's do a little scroll on the timeline, as usual. Again, I don't expect us to get any team news, but it's always good to see what other people are doing. Yeah, people are starting to realise how powerful this triple captain could look now. And yes, we still have it, so I'm buzzing. Joe, I just found out it's Wood's birthday today, is it? 7th of December, Chris Wood's birthday. Great spot, Con. You know what that means. Are they playing today? They do play. Well, sure. I mean, you have to play him. if there's one FPL unwritten rule, is that there's birthday goals. For sure. For sure. Should I get United or a Bournemouth defender? Neither of them, I'll be honest. I don't like either of them. I think they've been doing decent in recent time, but don't love it. Anyway, let's keep scrolling. Where are we? Yeah, the only thing that can stop Mohamed Salah is the weather. Absolute goat, man. Start Matoma or Rodgers, Choi? I want to say Matoma. For minutes. You'd expect more minutes. Especially when you consider he's played 90 in the last while. Hi, Choi. I have Larson, Solanke and Kuna up top, so not great. What would be the priority to sell out of the lot of them? Probably Larson. I don't like doubling up on Wolves because they're so bad. Don't get me wrong, they're not so bad on an attacking point of view, but I just still think, like, you don't want double Wolves attack ever, really, do you? Who do you think is winning, West Ham or Wolves? I don't know. It's probably going to be like 2-2, I want to say. It's going to be a cagey game. And Mbeumo to Gordon. Okay, let's do score predictions. Chat, get involved. While you're getting involved, hit that like button for me. Alright, let's do... What score do we think the Villa and Southampton game is going to be? I think it's going to be 2-0 Villa. 2-0 Villa personally. Again, it could be much higher, but I think Southampton have looked a small bit better recently. "3-2 says Ishank. Miss says 2-1. Gary says the West Ham game is going to be 3-all. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Con says 2-1. Asmus says 3-0 Villa. Rosen says 3-0. Jonathan Shirley 3-1. Franek 3-1. Christopher 3-1. 3-3-1s in a row. Maybe it's a sign. Ari says 2-0. Gary says 2-0 Villa. Liam 3-0. 1974 3-0. TC says 1-all. If you're right, TC, I'm going to come back to you on that. I won't forget. John T says 2-1. Okay. Before we move on from that, who's going to score? Who is going to score? I'm going to say Watkins is going to score because I think it's 2-0. And I think Leon Bailey is going to score. Harvey says I'm top 32k in the world right now. I'm playing wildcard this week. Watch me end up 5 millionth by game week 20. Yeah, that's interesting that you're wildcarding this week, Harvey. I think when I consider, Liverpool not playing, assuming that you're wildcarding with Liverpool players in the team, I don't love it. I would say try hold it as long as possible to game week 18. I'm going to assume you already pressed the trigger though, so definitely going to be interesting for you though. Rogers hat-trick. Yeah, this is definitely no bias in chat. Watkins, Rogers. Am I tripping or has there been any team leaks recently? Yeah, you're right, George. I'm fairly sure the City guys have kind of cracked down on those type of leaks. But in general, yeah, you're right. There's not been many team leaks. Is Isaac a good option for captaincy? Yes, he is. Watkins, Rogers, Tielemans. Watkins, Rogers, Archer, Fernandez. Damn, Ishank. If you get that right. Is the deadline still 11 a.m? It is indeed. Okay, let's move on from the Watkins game. The Villa game. Brentford versus Chelsea. What we got? Alright, Brentford versus Newcastle. Why did I say Chelsea? What is wrong with me, man? I'm going to say 1-1. As a Spurs fan, are you scared of Palmer or Jackson more? As a Spurs fan, I'm shitting it for anyone. I'm scared of Levi Colwill at this point. Spurs have no defenders, like. Who are you capping this week, Choi? Spurs fan here. Love going for Palmer. Spurs fan here, so don't love going for Palmer. Eddie, I'm in the same boat, and I'm not going to go Palmer. I'm going to stick to my guns and go for a Gerard Bowen. And I can't wait to be completely wrong. And I just realised West Ham are the Monday night football on Monday. Oh, going into Monday while everyone has already had Cole Palmer could either be the worst or best thing ever. Like, imagine I go through Sunday on a green arrow and I have my captain to play on Monday night football. That would be a dream come true. Why do I know that's just not going to happen though? Why Bowen? I think there is good reason. You have the likes of Kudus back, first off. That's massive for West Ham. There's a lot of pressure on Lopetegui. A home fixture versus Wolves, who are also really struggling. I think it makes sense. Opinions on selling Salah to KDB and Captain Isaac. Don't love it, Imran. Or Eamon. Especially if you value tied up. Jackson because Spurs defense. Fair. I can see it, like. Is Mbeumo must sell? Nah, Mbeumo, a man that's on penalties and consistently getting 90 minutes through a busy period is never a must sell. If I had the luxury, would I sell him? Yes. Mate, you still didn't answer the best Mbeumo replacement. Probably Gerard Bowen. Electricity is back now, says Eddie Casey. What, is your electricity gone? I'm so tempted to go Jackson after his rest. Yeah, I never considered that, actually. That's a good point. Semenyo or Mitoma? Sell Johnson or Solanke for a Newcastle player for a -4. I will sell Johnson for Gordon. I still fancy holding on to Solanke. I got Salah at 13.1 mil, so I can get him back. Yeah, I suppose you can, but it's also 2 transfers. Tiny Fungus says he's done Mbeumo to Bone. I love it. Who are you captain in Tiny Fungus? Let me know. What would you do with Bruno in your team? I'd hold on to him. Okay, next one. City versus Palace. What are we feeling, chat? I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 City. High fives from Kilmac Thomas. Good to see you, 1974. Karen says Bone or Gordon. Now that's hard. That's a tough pick because Gordon's fixtures in the future look very good. But this week, I want to say Bone. I sold Mbeumo for Gordon. Nice. Please help. Start Greaves or Nori? Nori. Tiny Fungus is stuck between Bone and Bruno. Fair. What about Cole Palmer, Alex? Who else? Christopher Fella says 2-1 Palace. Colin Clasher says 2-all. Dylan Hutchins said 5-0 Crystal Palace. Yeah, good to see we're really back in City here. Haaland hat-trick. I guarantee you Erling Haaland will score. I put money on it. Erling Haaland is going to score. How much do you want to bet Haaland will score? I'm not a gambling man anymore. I definitely was. But Haaland was going to score against Crystal Palace. Start Sanchez or Fabianski? I've answered this already, and the answer is I don't really know. I would start Fabianski. I think people should listen to Captain Jackson. You will thank me later. Yeah, maybe you guys should listen to Boya 2.0 or Boya 2.0. Maybe he's on something. For long term, who would you go? Gordon or Bowen? I think they're both good long term. Again, Bowen is the captain of West Ham, and like I said, just bringing up my own team. What you want is a 90-minute man through this Christmas period, and Jared Bowen is for sure one of them. I know that for a fact. The guy doesn't miss minutes unless he's injured. Like, West Ham need him. Look at his minutes here. Like, because he came back from international, I'm fairly sure that's why he got 72. But it's been 90 since, so definitely happy with Bowen long term. Again, the fixtures get a bit tougher around here, but Liverpool at home, City away. Okay, sure. Liverpool at home, not ideal, but City, who you could consider a leaky defence, is actually not too bad. And a player of his calibre can do it in a fixture like that. Finsky says best goalkeeper replacement for Flecken other than Raya. The goalkeeper positions are just a bit shy, aren't they? Like, who is there? There's no one other than Raya. There's no one I can say to you for sure I would be comfortable bringing in long term other than a Kelleher. But then again, you have Alisson coming back, so, and he doesn't play this week, so you don't like that either. Why are you keeping Garnacho, Chai? Well, I was going to bench him this week for Salah and Trent, so now I don't have much option other than to play him. And by the way, we have 226 people in here. If you could do me a favour and hit that like button, I appreciate all you souls for joining me on this Saturday. It means a lot. Sorry for missing the last deadline, by the way. I hope you understand. Tuesday deadlines are definitely not my forte. Captain Palmer or Saka? I want to see what the split is. Let's do a poll. Who's your captain? Let's do Palmer, Saka. I don't even know who else to add. Maybe Haaland / Bowen / Watkins. Other ... Yeah, that's a terribly worded poll, but there you go. Where am I? Isaac or Saka for captain? Oh yeah, other people are doing Isaac as well. I forgot about that. Everyone's on other. Fuck, I forgot to add Isaac. Palmer, I expect. Oh, this poll is close. Palmer 30%, Saka 30%, Haaland, Bowen, Watkins, other 42%. Interesting. Toby says Watkins. Rogers on Haaland. Charles says Isaac. If you had Haaland, would you captain him or would you stick with Bowen? If I had Erling Haaland, I'd be 10 million % captain him. What's your reason for Bowen? I'm also on Bowen. Edom, I'll tell you if you tell me first. No, I just feel like last week was a good taster on what Bowen can do. Pressure on for West Ham. Wolves look fairly shite, and it's the late kickoff on Monday night, so I can suffer. Give me a number out of 100 on Gabriel starting. I want to say 75%. Yo, Chai, who would you start? Aït-Nouri or Konsa? Konsa, without a shadow of a doubt. Haaland is an absolute no-brainer if you had him. I would agree with that. Dinesh says Jackson. Interesting. Why would you captain Jackson over Palmer, though? I don't understand. I think it's a small... Maybe if you consider the role maybe Palmer has been picking up recently, but even at that, like, I don't agree with it. Free kicks, penalties, talisman, better for bonus. I don't know. My daughter has Haaland captain and Bowen voice. I have neither. Best of luck, Jonathan Shirley's daughter. Start Davis or Adogi? Neither. Probably Davis. Adogi has been absolutely useless for Spurs. Should I captain Jackson? Probably not. This poll is so close and I love it. I'm surprised there's 26% going Saka. By the way, I think it's very, very unlikely, but just in case, make sure you set your voice captain. Is the deadline actually in 12 minutes? Well, the deadline is actually in 13 minutes. I always do it a bit earlier I know there's a bit of a buffer in the stream, so that's why I do it like not on perfect time, but yeah. Captain Isaac or Saka? I don't love Saka captain this week. Fulham are actually decent defensively. Maybe Isaac. Again, I don't really love either of them though. Yeah, now that I think of it, I really need Havertz to do something this week. Or else I'm fooked. And the more I think of it, after him starting midweek, I don't know if I see a start for Havertz. But it's too late now, I have to start him. Eco says, I have a bit of a dilemma. Hit me, Eco. Right, I'm going. I can't hit a barn door. Jackson, I must be mad. Good luck, Dylan. Best of luck. Wissa has never blanked at home this season. Yeah, players don't blank until they do. You know what I mean? What's the plan on Garnacho? I mean, play him this week only because no Salah. And then probably get rid of him down the line. That's why I want to hold another transfer and roll this week. Need a good replacement for a cheap striker that's going to give me returns. Good cheap striker, his name is João Pedro. Captain Isaac, really tempting. Yeah, it is definitely tempting. But I don't have him, so not for me. Choi, Rea or Martinez? For this week, probably Martinez. If I had to bring one in though, it's definitely Rea. Mist says, Arsenal fan here. Havertz has been underwhelming the last couple of game weeks. I agree. And you know who's looked quite good is Jesus. Derek O'Reilly says, come on you Spurs, Son incoming. Derek, I hope you're right. It's not looking great for Spurs though. I really hope you're right though. We need something, man. Keane says, please, can I have some help, chat? I have 2 frees. Sounds like I'm trying to give you some breakup advice here. Please, Shy, I need some help. I have 2 frees with Lewis and Gabriel in defence. Greaves as cover. And a Buemo in midfield. Would you sell any of them and think about rolling? Would I think about selling any of Lewis and Gabriel and Buemo in midfield? I think in a game week like this, you just roll it. I feel. That's what I think. Start Porro or Colwell. Pedro Porro. Hope for attack and return. Is Rashford worth a punt and Buemo out? I was considering one of these as well. Rashford definitely entered in my mind at some points. I'm not going to tell you no. Let's be real, I'm not going to tell you no. But it's easy to be carried away from what we've seen from Rashford. From Rashford since Amaran came in. I would give it a small bit more time, I think. Are you Ange in? Personally, I feel like Ange should stay. For anyone that knows me, I'm Ange till I die. I'm Ange before Daniel Levy, of course. It's Levy out. If Ange goes, I'm upset, to be honest. Dating advice streams when? Yeah, no, feel free to put it in chat, Tiny Fungus. I'll be here. I'm here for the day. Salah to Saka for a 1 week punt. No. If you had captain one Fernandes or Bone. McNeil to Mitoma or play Greaves as a 4th defender. McNeil to Mitoma. Why not? Go for it. I'm worried I'm being a bit too passive. Like when I look at my team, I am being a bit small, a bit passive. When I look at the players who could potentially not play, and it's not good when I say it, but the fact that there's a chance Lewis won't play, or start, sorry, Gabriel won't play, Greaves is just not a great option. Garnacho mightn't play, Rodgers mightn't play, Havertz mightn't play. Like maybe I should be bringing in a transfer. But for who? Like I can get rid of Garnacho. I can get to an Eze, but he's not appetizing. Sure, I can get rid of Rodgers, but I can go to a Semenyo, but then like I lose the potential of a really good fixture with Rodgers, Southampton at home. So none of these moves are worth doing. Gabriel I'm gonna want next week. Lewis as well, like he's one to hold on to for sure. The only justifiable move I see is Havertz or Garnacho, but these are 2 decent fixtures for both of them. Franok says, I do Garnacho to Semenyo. Yeah, it's not a bad move, Franok. And it also opens up some funds in the bank for me. I just think down the line there's there might be a move a bit more spicy for me if I have 2 free transfers. Like, that opens 0.9 million in the bank. It's got Ipswich. I do like that move. But I think if you told me Garnacho would play, I'd be more than happy starting him. Antoine Semenyo, Ipswich away. Bournemouth have been scoring goals. Man, how good have Bournemouth been, by the way? Beating Spurs, which is not a hard task anymore, but to beat Spurs 1-0 and not concede, you're doing well. 41% on Cole Palmer. I'm not surprised at all. 25% on Saka, 35% on other. Why not Captain Palmer? Again, I'm all for Captain Palmer. It's just I'm not going to do it. If there's going to be a week where people are going differential, I'm also going to be differential in the option that I believe in. Semenyo or Bone in for Mbeumo? Either of Semenyo or Bone. I think Bone is the one for me. Surely not Bone captain. I'm going for it, lads. I'm going for it. Evan Nilsson captain? I don't know about that, Chief. Again, it's nothing to do with not captain Palmer. It's more so I don't mind captain and Bone. I really like it. Bought Mitoma instead of Garnacho. I hope I won't cry. Yeah, that's another move I could do. I could do Mitoma in. They've of course got Leicester. Why did that just reset? What is going on? So let's have a look at Mitoma. He's one I spoke about in game week 13 when he got the Hall versus Southampton. He of course got a knock but played against Fulham. Didn't clock the greatest numbers, but I mean this is enough sample size here. I mean it's decent, like, and he's really good for bonus. Lovely fixtures as well. Again, I am leaning more on hedging my bets with Garnacho. It sounds stupid when I probably should be bringing in more security, but I just think Garnacho is still a plausible shout for this game. Forest are good defensively, don't get me wrong, but I want to play him. And I'm probably going to regret it. Yeah, 5 minutes into the deadline. Get your teams locked in. Get your questions in. I'm going to close it up when the deadline is up. Actually, let me screenshot my team before I forget. I always forget at the deadline. We're 956k in the world. Of course, a nice green arrow from last week. Let's go through my rank history real quick for this season so far. It's not been great. On the grand scheme of things, sure, there's been progress. Small progress though. Back in the 950-ish K rank. Again, I'm happy with my decisions. I think that's the main thing for me. I need a green arrow this week. I'll say that though. And if I can get a green arrow next week, I'm well set up for next week with 2 free transfers. Let's get back to my team. And some questions before the deadline. Teams and questions. 40 off the lead. Do I captain Isaac or Bone or go safe with Palmer? TC, what I would say is there's no point chasing. We have another 23 game weeks to go. You do the decision that you think is the best, and if you do enough of them over the long term, you'll definitely catch up. Not being great. Dude, I'm dropping off now at 3.6 million. Yeah, it's a tough season. It's definitely a tough season. Captain Haaland or Bone? Haaland. I want to bring in a Bournemouth player. Not sure who though. Semenyo. Would you take a -4 from Wood to Kuna? No. Gundogan, Mitoma or Garnacho? Mitoma. Choi, for Captain Palmer or De Bruyne? Palmer. Start Kuna or Semenyo? Semenyo. Rodgers or Semenyo? That's a tough one. I'm gonna say Semenyo for minutes. That could be a mistake though. Start Hall or Van der Berg? Hall. Who do I start? Byrne or Colwell? Big Dan Byrne? I don't know who to captain. Jackson, Kuna, Saka or Havertz. Out of those 4 you've said, or 3 you've said, it's Saka. Captain Bruno. I don't love it. Hall or Davis? Hall. Bone or Gordon? I think if you're bringing one in, Gordon. But I really like I really do like Jared Bone. Did Bruno to KDB for a -4 and captaining him is a crazy try. Yes, that is wild. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hovering around 33k says Crypto Munch. Team seems template. Need to find differentials. You don't need to find differentials. Again, that could plummet your rank if it don't work out. What I would say is, again, from being in that position the last season where you're in the top 1000, top 100, it's something I consistently done, which was playing my own game. And my own game was believing in players who were a small bit different. So I would say continue if you really believe in your differentials. Start Rodgers or Kuna. I mean, Kuna gets more minutes and West Ham look leaky. Palmer or Saka captain? Palmer. Sell Solanke or hold for West Ham? Hold for Southampton. Sorry. Yeah, hold for Southampton. Why Bowen over Palmer, Choi? Is that purely bias, says David. I wouldn't say it's bias. I don't think Spurs are going to roll over against Chelsea. That's the first thing. I think Wolves have been so poor defensively, and West Ham are at home. Like, let's look at where goals conceded. 4 against Everton, 4 against Bournemouth, 1 against Fulham, none against Southampton. I mean, they've just been leaky all season, and I just think this is a good fixture for West Ham. Again, it's nothing against Palmer, though. I think it's a really, really good option. 1 minute until the deadline. Make sure you're locked in. Refresh that page. I know it's windy by a lot of people's houses, so your internet might be a bit skewed. So make sure your team is saved. Good luck, says Connor. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate you. Neto or Ahmed? I want to say Ahmed. Guys, like the stream, says Franok. All the best, Choi, a strong green arrow. Anish says, hey Choi, here's my team. Any thoughts? Anish, the deadline is just up. I can't get back to you, unfortunately. And TC with a €5 or £5 super chat. Absolute legend. He says, have a coffee on me. That is so sweet, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Much love, my guy. That is so nice. You don't need to do that. TC, instead of sending me money, you should become a channel member and then I'll add you to the WhatsApp group chat. Thank you so much. So, we're going to call the stream there. 11 o'clock deadline. Of course, we've no early fixture. Here's my team for the week. We've got Jared Bowen, captain. Best of luck, everyone, for the game week. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And I might see you for a team selection video next week. If not, you can be sure that there will be a deadline stream. And I will be sure to let you know if there's anything that comes up. So, thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to lock it up there. And I will see you.